What a trip.
What a trip.
Welcome everyone.
Hi everyone.
Trip wrap-up video.
Yes, thought we'd give you a quick wrap-up of our trip that we've just done to Outback Queensland and down the Strzelecki track, if you've been watching our videos.
If you haven't, why not?
Why not? Why aren't you watching them if you're not? But we just wanted to chat to you about this video before we show it to you. Haven't got a lot of footage actually because it was a bit of a stressful day for us, wasn't it, Aidan?
Yes, our lovely trip that we were really enjoying ended in tears.
Ended in floods of tears. Let's say that. I'm not ashamed to say I did cry. And those of you that have been following my blog and things know that it takes quite a lot to upset me. You know, we take everything with a grain of salt, really. You know, really the only things precious in life is your life and your health. But this particular day was a bit of a shit caravanning day. They don't get much shitter than this. I guess if your van were to get written off, that's pretty bad. Catch on fire or flood. And we had an epic flood inside the van. So a couple of things happened when we came down the Strzelecki track. The van itself, everything was fine. Yes, we had this flooding event. We actually thought we would end our trip on a high, and even though we weren't far from home, we took a night in one of our favourite spots on the edge, Southern Flinders Ranges, because the weather was absolutely perfect. So we're just going to show that to you because we love sharing the Flinders Ranges. You'll have to keep watching to see what ensued after that.
Yes.
It was not a fun day, was it, Aidan?
Oh, it was a good night camping, but yeah, the next day wasn't fun.
Yeah, so keep watching and we'll give you a bit of a wrap up at the end. But actually what we wanted to say is, as many of you know, our new van is a bush tracker, and we didn't want you watching this because there's so many caravan companies out there where you don't get good service. And after this event that happened, and we'll tell you about it at the end, Bush Tracker have been absolutely fantastic in assisting us in getting the problem sorted. So we just kind of wanted to preempt the video with that, didn't we? No, we are not selling Bush Trackers. No, we are not affiliated with Bush Tracker. Those of you that know the brand know that they're not a cheap brand. You do expect good customer service when you're buying any van, and we've definitely had that from the Bush Tracker team. So thanks, guys. If ever you want us to sell your vans for you, just let us know. But no, we're not selling Bush Trackers. I've had a few messages asking that. No, we're not doing the whole affiliated program thing.
I don't think Bush Tracker have one.
No, and I'm pretty sure Bush Tracker don't have one, probably don't need one. That's fine. But anyway, this is how everything panned out. We'll show you and give you a wrap up of where things are now at the end. No surprises. We haven't quite made it home. We were heading for home base, but the weather's too good out here in the Flinders Ranges, so we're heading to one of our favourite camp spots just for one night to kind of ease our way back into base, home base, after being away for several weeks. Because we can, because the weather's so good, no wind out here, and sometimes the wind out here can be absolutely freezing. So we're going to take you to one of our favourite camps in the Flinders Ranges, which is a great way to experience the Flinders Ranges. If you don't want to head all the way in, it just gives you a little bit of a taste of what it's kind of like. So come along for the ride, literally. I spied one of these little mateys on the side of the road. He was just having a nice time in the sun. You could probably tell we're back in the Flinders. All the beautiful gum trees, great scenery. We never get sick of it. Got sidetracked by one of our favourite spots in perfect weather. So this is Warren Gorge Campground. about 20 k's out of Corn in South Australia, and a great little taste of the Flinders if you don't have time to get all the way into the Flinders. You'll spy the rock wallabies here, the yellow-footed rock wallabies, loads of kangaroos, emus, and there's a great about 5k loop, isn't it? Walking loop
Up over the top of that hill.
that you can do up over the top of this butte hill here. We have done it before, so I might cheat and put some footage or photos in here for you. We're going to do a bit of a different walk today down in the creek, which is just behind me here, Dry Creek at the moment. Great camp spots here, fire pits, pit toilets, council run, about $5 for day entry and $15 per night camping per vehicle. This is our little camping buddy at the moment. Don't think this one's terribly well. Poor old girl. She's got beautiful lashes. Might be a little bit old, I think. Anyway, Aiden's disappeared. I was just going to ask him something. Wait, where are you going? What have you got there? I was going to show everyone that, love. We picked up this today. This Outback, Explore Outback South Australia and the Flinders Ranges Visitor Guide. It is so good.
Yeah.
You picked it up in the BP, didn't you?
Yep, and they've got other ones for the Red Centre Arc Trail, the Red Centre Visitors Guide, Tennant Creek Visitors Guide, and the Katherine Region Guide. So.
Yeah, and can you just flip it over, love? Flip it the other way. I think, yeah, exploreoz.com.au, people, or Instagram or Facebook. And tell us, Aidan, what did you learn about damper when you were reading that?
Well, they have a recipe for damper in there, but they explain why in the olden days people used to put in the bush, used to put raisins in.
Why did they put raisins in their damper? Because I thought it was just to make it a dessert damper.
No, it's so that you couldn't tell how many flies got in the mixture.
Yeah, and judging by the places we've been the last few days, I reckon there would have been more raisins than actual damper, don't you?
Oh, it's not as bad as WA.
Yeah, WA is looking quite hectic with the flies at the moment. For those of you that are interested in the Hyson Trail, the big trek that goes through South Australia, the Warren Gorge, there's actually part of it is on the Hyson Trail. Do you think you're ever going to do the Hyson Trail walk, Aidan?
No.
You can do it over your whole lifetime. That's what people do. Big sections of it. No? We've chosen to do the creek walk today. Don't know how far we'll go because it is a little bit late in the afternoon. And then I'll walk back over and show you the actual gorge part. Hopefully there might be the rock wallabies out. But as you can see, it's a great example of some of the rock and all the colours and things that you get in the Flinders. It's very dry at the moment. A little bit of water off to the side, but unfortunately no water through here yet. Hopefully one day soon we'll get some rain.
As long as it then stops.
Yeah, well that's the thing, isn't it? When it decides to rain, it really rains. We've come for a walk down into the gorge now at golden hour, just to have a look around. It's so quiet. The rock in here is just like, it's like when you fold a cake and the layers are just folded on top of each other. It's just so good to see. It's a bit different, something a bit different, people. Unless you watch our videos. Unless you watch our videos, yeah, probably going to get quite a bit of the Flinders rock. And I think it's about time we went back and started our campfire, isn't it?
Yep.
You can just feel the chill starting now. So this is what we just pulled up and opened the door to. I was like, too scared to open up the door. Oh my lord. Not a good day. I guess it's a good thing that we're close to home though. That's the one silver lining. Guys and gals, you wouldn't believe it. We've just got like 45 minutes from home and happened to stop. We've just pulled up, opened up the door, and the whole caravan is flooded. So all the taps are off. We can see that it's come from the hot water service somehow. So everything is just flooded. I just felt so. This is probably a worry as well. It's just saturated here, and we're not sure whether any water's gone into the diesel heater air intake here in the bathroom. Like, it's just absolutely soggy in here. So yeah, that's probably a worry. We did promise to bring you the good days and the bad days of vanning. And right now this feels like a shit day. I've just had to compose myself. I mean, we're both pretty calm and keep things in perspective. But opening up your new van door to a flood is not what you want to see. We've been on bitumen and everything today too. So, you know, until we can troubleshoot, we don't really know what's happened. Obviously, clearly something with the hot water service. So as Aidan just said, luckily for us, it happens to be the day that we're returning home. Although living rurally, we are nowhere near anywhere that can help us with the caravan. It'll mean taking it somewhere to get it looked at. You know, bush tracker's a long way from where we are. That's one downfall of buying it at Bush Tracker, and it's so far away for us. You know, I do feel upset because, you know, no one wants to open up their caravan door to a flood, do they? And, you know, obviously we've got insurance and all those things, but we now have to get it sorted, and brains are already going into what's going on under the floor with the water. You know, the hot water service only holds about 10 to 12 litres, I think, but of course we didn't use any hot water this morning because we were close to home, and we thought, oh, we'll just get home and shower and do everything. And so of course it would have been full when it's leaked out. So if you can imagine just opening up your caravan door and throwing 10 to 12 litres across your floor. That's what we just opened the door to. So obviously we've used all our towels and everything to sloshing around back there to try and soak it up. And we'll just have to get to home base and open it all up, dry it out as best we can, get on the phone and see what we have to do next. I did just say to Aidan, we'll probably have to turn the pumps on and let the water start flowing into it just to see, because obviously where the hot water service is around in the cabinet, we can't really see whether it's just a pipe which is worked loose. I did find a little black rubbering washer type thing floating around in the cupboard. So whether that's worked its way off something. But of course now there's no water coming out of it. It's hard to see what's gone on. So we'll have to keep you posted, folks, on what happens with it and where we go with it from here. So whatever happens, we need to get it sorted. And hopefully before we were due to go away again with the van. So anyway, fingers crossed we can work it all out. Oh, and the worst part is the one day in the whole trip today And I left my prized new Ugg boots sitting under the dining table instead of where I normally put them up near the bed, because I thought, oh, I'll just leave them there because we'll be home soon and I'll grab them out. Yeah. Now they just smell like smelly, wet sheep. So let's hope we get some sunshine when we get home. Far out. I'm sure we'll laugh about it around a campfire one day. That's not today. Aiden's not even talking. Hey, Aiden. No. Oh well, on we go. We're doing the dreaded unpack now. And as you can see, with our flooding issue that happened today due to our hot water service, we've mopped up. We've got every window and every vent open. Fortunately, we came home to some beautiful weather. There is supposed to be rain hitting tomorrow, which we're looking forward to because we desperately need it in the Flinders Ranges. But for the moment, it's every cupboard's open, and we're just trying to dry everything out as quickly as we can. Hi there, folks. Not our best fun travel day. Tell you what, I'm looking forward to a proper shower. Yeah, we have our hot water service, which is a storage unit down under here because our van is all electric. So I guess that is one of the downfalls of one of those systems, that when things go wrong, it can just go wrong. Looks like one of our connectors to it has snapped in our travels. And of course, we didn't actually shower or anything this morning, didn't use any hot water because we weren't far from home, and we thought, oh, we'll just do it all when we get home. Yeah, so probably unpacking more than what we ever would just at the moment. But we've been in touch with Bush Tracker. They've been great. Got an email and videos and photos off to them. So we'll see how we go with all of that. If we've ever had flood damage anywhere would know it just creates such a bloody mess when it's just pooled and sitting there. Fortunately, did not get any leakage into the brain box of the van, which is down under the bed here. And I think it was a good thing that I had to stop for a wee, folks, and caught it because then it didn't seep all into there.
All right.
There you have it, folks.
Well, what happened on the Strzelecki? Well, you might wonder what this is. This is a new shelf for the bottom of the fridge. There's one of the side brackets broke.
One of the side brackets, we went to open the fridge. This is actually when we got back, wasn't it? When we got to Farina, I think. And one of the bottom shelves in the fridge cracked down along the edge, which we've seen on a few of your videos, guys and girls, that we watch, that it seems to be a bit of a common problem. So we just got a new shelf and are thinking about taping it, or we're not sure yet if we're going on the rough tracks again. I mean, obviously we're not driving on a Strzelecki track every day.
But we did have 2 2-litre bottles of milk and 1.5 litres of water on the shelf. So. Yeah,
so we could have thought about what was on the shelf and, you know, laid the bottles down. I mean, everything's a risk, isn't it? I've opened up my fridge in another van to beetroot spill everywhere and cracked bottles and all sorts of things. I mean, that's what we do, being out in the dirt roads. It was bumpy. A minor inconvenience. It went back in. Yeah. It's still sitting in there and we still had the milk in it afterwards. Yeah. So the cracked shelf, we had 3 things happen. Comes in 3s, but, you know, cracked shelf, a milk container split open in our fridge in the car. That was about as bad as it got, you know, but we had to clean all the fridge out. Oh, and I lost a can of beer. Oh, yes, and Aiden lost a can of beer. So that wasn't great. But the flooding event that you've just seen that had happened, it was definitely an issue with our hot water service, but we were partly to blame as well. So
we didn't take our own advice. We
forgot something. You know, it was a perfect shitstorm. That's all I can say. We are both, I don't know if I'd say I'm a seasoned vanner. I've had vans for, I suppose, compared to someone who's starting out. But, you know, you have your checklist of things that you go through when you're packing up to get on the road. And I think the morning that we left Warren Gorge, we were both just a bit like, home's just down the road. You know, we kind of could almost smell home and doing the unpack and everything. We'll get home, unpack, have a proper hot shower, you know the drill. And so we don't really know why, but we're all human, and we're sharing this because we all started somewhere, right? And you think you're going to check everything off your checklist, and we did not turn off our water pumps. Now, that, for me, as a vanner, when I got my first van, that was the first thing that the guys told me was, Leah, make sure you turn off your water pumps, because especially, you know what you're like out in the outback track, and you know, if you've got your pumps on and a tap mixer flicks up or something, the water's just going to come out. If your tap's turned to the side, well, you're going to have a flood. So we thought we had turned the water pumps off, actually, and it turns out we hadn't. But that isn't what caused the flood. Our hot water service was full, and to start with, which holds how many litres?
10 or 12.
Yeah, 10 to 12 litres. So that was full anyway. But of course...
But now it was under pressure because the pump was still on.
It was under pressure because the pump was on. And what happened then, Aidan?
Yes, one of the outlet for the hot water at the top, the fitting cracked and just came apart. So obviously with the hot water, if we had the pumps off, we'd have had a small spill. Mm-hmm. But we mightn't have actually picked it up then. That would be the issue until we turned it on the next time. With the pump on, it was just squirting out because it was trying to fill back up again. But fortunately, the tank that it was drawing from, because we have selectable tanks, was almost empty.
Thank God.
If we had used the water that morning, we'd have probably switched over to the other tank, which had 95 litres in it, instead of maybe 10.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been fun. Because, I mean, even if you imagine 10 to 12 litres that was already in the hot water service, just opening up your caravan door, what's a bucket hold? 9 litres. So more than that, and then just throwing it across your floor. Well, you know, the caravan's not a very big space. So... you know, we're the first to put our hand up and go, you know what, guilty, sorry, dickheads, you forgot to turn the pump off. But I kid you not, that was the only day in the whole of our first shakedown trip that we did not turn that pump off. And it was purely because we were home, almost home, we were out of routine. Anyway, lesson to self, we will not do that again. Can't guarantee it. You know, we're getting older, but, you know, it was not fun.
Yep.
So, sorry, we're keeping you up, Noah.
Yes, but we got on the phone, we mopped it up as best we could. It had run underneath all the cabinetry, except under the bed, fortunately. So we didn't get any into the electrical components.
Yeah.
Once we got home, we left the van open, emptied it out, cleaned it up as much as we could. Everything was dry. We turned on the air conditioning and let it basically heat to 26 or 27 degrees. I think we set it at, and just closed the van up once we'd everything out and dry. We spoke to Bush Tracker. Their service department was excellent.
Yeah.
Immediately said, yeah, don't worry about it. We identified, they knew, because it's a show van, they know the van. It was, if not the first, one of the first they've built with this electric hot water system. I think the fitting was under a slight bit of pressure from the other hoses. But as soon as we spoke to them, they said, yeah, we acknowledged that, yes, it's an issue. They said, don't worry about it. We'll send you new fittings. if you've got any damage, which could take 3 to 6 months to crop up in the woodwork, it's all warranted now because we've notified them.
So we had to obviously send through, I'd taken some photos and some video, which you just saw, and we had to send that obviously all through to Bush Tracker and explain what had happened. And, you know, they were great. Yeah, they said, you know, if there's any water damage going forward, we'll obviously be communicating that with them. But we think that we've been very lucky in that, as you saw, that the day that we got home, it was actually a warm day in the Flinders Ranges. We were able to mop everything up as quickly as we could. We opened everything up, aired everything out, and we still have it airing now, and we've come in routinely to put the heater on. Now, obviously, if there was any damage, there's going to be damage, but at this point, we can't see any. The cupboards are all closing. And what were they saying about the floor, love?
The floor is a composite floor, so it's not actually made of wood, so it's all waterproof. The frame was obviously aluminium.
Yeah, so actually, if you jump onto Bush Tracker's Instagram, I think it was on, or their Facebook, they were recently at a show and they took one of their Bush Tracker frames just so that people could see how the frame was built. And because it is aluminium, we don't have to worry about water. Obviously, if it was a timber framed or if the water's soaked in, we haven't had to worry about that. But the floor, is composite, isn't it?
Yeah. So, touch wood, we're out of the woods, but yes, we had the heater on, as Bush Tracker said. Just turn the heating on, let it dry out as much as you can, which we can't see anything. We've had the heater on for over a week.
Yeah, and they did say just to look where the toilet is, because we've got a Tetford toilet. We haven't gone compostable yet because obviously that's raised. We need to just obviously check for any leakage or water from under there, and as well at the shower. But we're fingers crossed.
We can't see anything.
We're hoping we got really lucky, because when we got home, we moved the van, changed the levels to see where the water was, you know, coming out from, soaked it all up. Our biggest concern was that, if you've seen a couple of our videos, we have got the diesel heater air intake in the bathroom, and we were really concerned that there could have been water possibly flooded into there. So we left that for a good several days.
Yeah, just running the aircon.
Yeah, running the aircon, making sure everything was dry, and started up the diesel heater with our fingers crossed going, oh, is this going to be okay? Diesel heater's perfectly fine at this point in time. It's working really well. So, it's so basically what had happened, and I guess coming down the Strzelecki and doing those rough tracks is, I'll pop a photo up on the screen, is that the main inlet, wasn't it? The main outlet into the hot water service had basically sheared off. So yeah, not great for the hot water service, and obviously that's why everything's under warranty. They sent out the parts. We could have got a plumber, but Aidan was happy with the parts they sent out. You were able to fit them.
I'll remove one of the hoses that I thought was under pressure, so that it's now appears to be under less
pressure
or no pressure. But Bush Tracker said, when we're up next time for a service, we're
going to have a chat to them,
go through and look at it and make sure everything's right. And
so when we get back up to Bush Tracker, we're going to have a chat to them about the hot water service and where the plumbing is into it, and see if there's because I think they have perhaps already changed the way that they're putting it in. And we understand that. We bought a show van, and, you know, as we said, that's the first time they've used that hot water service. So we just try and keep things in perspective. Was it a great experience to go through? Absolutely not.
But it did make me think we need to get some spare parts. So I have ordered and got a number of spare parts from Caravans Plus.
Yeah, we've got spare parts,
including the fridge shelf and some extra hose linked and junctions and joiners and everything, so that we now have spares in case something does go wrong in the future.
Yeah, particularly for us because we are often out in the bush. Yeah.
And touch wood, because we have the spares, we won't need them.
Yeah, that's Aiden's theory. We've got all the spares. Hopefully we never need them. So, you know, obviously we have van insurance and things as well. At the end of the day, it's a caravan. We still have a home base. It's not a nice experience to go through, I guess, for us because, you know, the van is literally brand new. We've done the trip down, a couple of trips, but this was our shakedown trip.
We've done probably be about 10,000 in it now. Yeah.
So we have done quite a few kilometres in it. Those of you that follow us know that we do a lot of kilometres and we love that. We love that. That's what we do. You know, the little map up here, I'll show you in a minute, is getting lots of dots on it. But it's just one of those things with van life. So, you know, we're not disappointed from the bush tracker point of view at all.
We're very happy with their service and backup of their product.
Yeah, which is always nice. And let's just cross our fingers that that's the worst that happens at this point in time. So I guess the takeaways from it are turn your pumps off, people. You know, turn your pumps off. We've been checking things as we were travelling, as you do, particularly like when we came off the Strzelecki and we got to Lyndhurst. You know, you pop your head in the door of the van, check everything. There's only so much that you can do. If you're going to get out on the road and do these things and really live and do the outback tracks, well, this is going to happen. But so far, you know, we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah.
Hey? Yeah,
still very happy with the van.
Yes, very happy with the van and our layout and everything that we've chosen. And I don't think we'd change anything at this point in time. So we are going to do a wrap-up video sometime soon of the actual trip and just a quick one of all the spots that we stayed, the great free camps that we found. So, you know, and for people who kind of want to follow some sort of route themselves, it's nice for you to see that. But anyway, thanks for watching, as always.
Like and subscribe and leave comments below. Ask us whatever questions you want.
We love it when you leave comments. You'll probably be leaving them on this one going, you idiot. You what? Left your pumps on? But that's fine. We're all human, right? And that's why we're sharing this. We could so easily not share it and go, oh, yeah, the hot water service broke. It did. You know, there was a problem with the hot water service, no doubt about it. But
it was one fitting.
It was one fitting.
It wasn't even the hot water service. It was a John Guest fitting.
Yes. John Guest fitting. I'm not liking it. But anyway, we exacerbated the problem. Not exasperated. I was exasperated, but we exacerbated the problem by not having our pumps off. So,
but I still think it's better that we found it on the last day on the way home than the first day on the way out the next time.
Exactly. So we kind of consoled ourselves with the silver lining that the hot water service was under pressure, regardless of the pumps, like it was full. So if we had have put the van into the garage and it had flooded, we might not have known about it for quite some time, particularly because we unpacked, or, you know, if it had have happened then, it could have just all been sitting and then we would have really had some problems. So fingers crossed. Bush Tracker will be seeing you next time we're up in Queensland, as you know, for a service or whatever, and we'll be going over everything then. But at the moment, things are looking good. So thanks for watching, everyone. We've only actually got maybe a few more weeks, maybe 3 or so weeks before we head off again. We're not sure to where. Except for, we kind of know where we need to end up at a certain point. So we have to, we've got a special guest to pick up in the Red Centre. So we're heading up to there, but we've got some time before we get to there. But, you know, we can't plan until we know what the weather's doing, because the hope is to get out on the dirt, out in the outback on the way up there. So, but like always with the weather, we can't plan, can we? You know, we don't know what roads will be open and what won't. So we're definitely not done with the dust yet. the dust and the dirt. So come along for the ride. Can't wait to take you along. And
Yep.
here's our Aussie map. So the black dots, everyone, the way we're using our map, and everyone's different, the black dots are places where we've camped. So that's the way we're running our map, not where we've gone, but where we've actually stayed overnight. So if we're looking at this, we can go, oh yeah, we've been there, but we camped there, so let's try that little next town over. Is that how it's working, Aidan?
Yep. Thanks to Dave's decals.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. It's looking good.
Although I think we might need a different colour dot for the next trip.
Why?
Well, so we don't get confused.
Oh, yeah, for each trip you mean. So I guess we could do that. Anyway, tell us how you use your maps. We'd love to know.
So we can check the sound. Do we do sound checks now?
Sound check. 1, 2, 3. Sound check.